Hello, everybody. I'm Melissa, and welcome back to Book Bar, and welcome to another KU check-in. This is KU check-in for my number 5. So, I think I'm going to try to change the way I do them after this one, and make them a little different. But yeah, basically, I have 3 previous KU check-ins. I think I have a playlist. I'll link that below. I'll link the last video up there. But yeah, basically since the last time that I did this, I have read 50 books on KU. No, what happened? I've read 50 KU titles, and don't ask me how this math adds up, but somehow it does. I've double checked, I've triple checked, but I have 7 books that I've read and returned, 7 books returned unread, and 7 books that are still on my Kindle, which I know that adds up to 21. So I don't know how that works out, but somehow, I don't know if maybe but I've looked, I've checked, I've done all the things, and yeah. So, the books that I have read and returned are Always Practice Safe Hacks by Juliet Cross, which was a 5-star book. King of the Court by R.S. Gray, which is a 5-star book. City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards, which was 3.5 stars. Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison, which was 4 stars. Black by Sophie Lark, which was 3.5 stars. It Ain't Me Babe by Tilly Cole, which was 4 stars. And Throttled by Lauren Asher, which was 4 stars. And then the books that I have returned unread are The Mixtape by Brittany Cherry. I own a physical copy of this, so I needed the space, so I took it off. If it's still on KU when I go to read it, I might download it again, because it was on Read and Listen. And then another one is The Casanova by T.L. Swan, again on Read and Listen. I just haven't been in the mood for it, so I was like, it doesn't need to take up a spot. Coach Me by Shanora Williams. One day I will get to this, but yeah, today is not the day. Requiem by Callie Hart, Last on the List by Amy Dawes, Could Have Been Me by Audrey Ravine, and One Hot Italian Summer by Karina Halley. All of those still interest me. I just have not been in the mood for them, and I was like, you know what, I need to free up some space, so I deleted those for now. And then the ones that are still on my Kindle are 1% of You by Michelle Gross, Blame It on the Tequila by Fiona Cole, Meet Me Halfway by Lillian T. James, The Sight of You by Ashley Mack, Between Hello and Goodbye by Emma Scott, The Stray Prince by Ella Fields, and Hydrous by Amara Rae. So those are the books that are still on there. I talk about them in previous installments of this, so you can watch those if you want to know about those books. Otherwise, I'm just going to go in and talk about the new titles that I have. The first one is Cupid's Peak by Elise Jacquot. I don't know. This is a Holly Nights novella. I have not read any, but this is the group book for the novella-thon that's happening. So this one will probably be taken off fairly soon. Also, what I'm going to try to do is, except for with novellas, because obviously it is, or for a readathon, if it's for a readathon, I'll take it off and then I'll add it back, and then I'll take off books from that. But otherwise, I'm going to try not to download anything new until I've read everything on KU that I have checked out. Unless I just really don't want to read it, and then it'll be it'll go into, but for the most part, I'm going to try not to have, I'm going to try to just read everything that's checked out before I download something new, unless it's for a readathon. So, obviously, there's a couple novellas on here for novellathon. I'll switch them out, in and out. Next week is the rom-com-a-thon. I'll probably download some KU books for that. If any type of readathon is happening, I'm going to try I'll switch things out for that, but I'm going to try not to download anything new for just for fun. I'm going to try to get these to be mood reads that I want, because I do really want to read all of them. So I hope that makes sense. I don't know. But so Cupid's Peak is hermit, introverted, homebody. All are adjectives that can be used to describe me, and that's how I like it. I'm content with the 4 walls of my home, safe from all the work one has to put in just to walk outside. But solitary life also means the only real romance I get to experience is from my holiday movie marathons and watching my old high school crush play for the NHL. My extroverted twin sister, however, doesn't like my plans and sets me up on a blind date, on Valentine's Day, at a 5-star resort. She somehow gets me to agree, despite my very real aversion to being in public places. Only, when I arrive, I couldn't care less about anyone else in the room but the very man I cheer for through my TV sitting across from me. Not only that, he's challenging everything I thought I knew with one simple question: truth or dare? So yeah, that one will be read fairly quickly. Without, that one will definitely be off next time I talk about things. Okay. The next book that I have is The Last Kiss by Anna Bloom. This was like Crystal from Crystal's Bookshelf talked about this, and I went to go download it, and it was no longer on KU, but now it's back on KU, and I was like, I need to download it. I want to have it. So this is one that definitely I will be reading before I take it off, because it could come off at any time, and I don't want that to happen. So Jules doesn't believe in fate. How can she when she's just been told she has a year to live? But then on the worst day of her gray and boring life, she meets a mysterious Frenchman at a bar who changes the way she sees things. Jules believes she'll never get to see her one-night stand again, but 2 months later, there he is chasing her across Waterloo Station, and then again and again. Determined to live the end of her life to the full, Jules ticks down her bucket list, evading the one thing she never experienced, love. Will true love finally find her before it's too late? I have heard that doesn't end happily ever after. So, I do know that. I don't know how that all comes to be, but yeah, I'm excited to get to that one. And that is definitely one that I will be reading before taking it off. Then the next one I have is The Choice by A Jade. This is the first of a duet, and I know that this follows a couple that we kind of see in the words, but it's like a complete standalone. Well, no, it's not a complete standalone. It's completely separate from the words, but it is a duet, so it doesn't end a cliffhanger. So I don't really want to pick it up until I know the second one's out. But yes. The world thought I belonged to another man. They were wrong. He was the mysterious dark knight, always swooping in to save me when I needed it most. I was the troubled girl with scars and a bleeding heart. He was the gifted guitarist destined for big things. I was the small town girl battling her demons. He was my earth, always keeping me grounded, and I was his sky, always just out of reach. Our love was everything I wished for until I destroyed it. I never thought I'd see Memphis Pain again after I broke his heart, but the stars had other plans, because here he is, needing me to clean up his mess this time. Only problem is, doing so will break both our hearts. They say the strongest love can survive an apocalypse. If two people are meant to be, they'll find their way back to each other. I hope they're right. Yeah. So basically, I know that the heroine in this was engaged to Memphis's brother, who was in the band from the words, and now she's like their PR person or something. And so I'm excited to get to know their story and like what happened, because you could tell like there was tension from them. In the book, or in the words. So, I'm excited to get to it. Then, the next book that I have is Bewitched by You by Kendra Mase. This is an author that's on Instagram, that I'm friends with, or follow on Instagram, and her books just sound really good. So, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna download one. Luella Pierce is having a mid-witch crisis. Her best friend is top of her class and currently on a fast track to land her dream job. Her coven members have all found their passions in life and are excited to start their next chapter. Even her arch nemesis and Barrett University star football player Ryan Gardner has future plans. Sure, they're to become a permanent nuisance in her life, but still, everyone else seems to have life figured out except her. Lou's big plans, procrastinating the future by throwing all her energy into creating the most fantastic Samhain Halloween celebration BU has ever seen. That is, if she can convince the student council she won't perform any satanic rituals. Cue the eye roll. But when Ryan sustains a career-ending injury and Lou receives an offer from her sweet yet meddling coven matriarch that causes her to rethink everything, Lou also begins to question if the strongest magic may be taking a chance on love and herself. That just sounds sweet and fun and very like lighthearted, and so yeah, I'm excited to get to that. Then the next book that I have is Veritas by A.L. Woods. I heard about this from Tori from Novel Life. She was talking about it during Jess's Patreon 48-hour readathon. And it's a single dad, so yes. I have more money than I know what to spend it on. The power that comes with being a partner at a law firm. A closet full of tailored Burani suits. And the ugly divorce. A daughter I love more than life itself, even if I'm not sure she's mine. What I don't have is her, my queen of thorns. Maria Tavares has the paralyzing effect of a black widow, disguised as a femme fatale. She's brains and beauty, and she has the audacity to F around like a man without any regard for feelings, and she lives by the mantra, hit it and quit it. Yours truly included. After a one-night stand 6 months ago, I want my formidable Rose any way I can have her. When she comes to me needing a favor, I'm quick with a proposition she can understand. An arrangement. 3 months, all in, strings attached, no interferences, titles exchanged. Mine. In this battle of wills, Maria will discover that I know she needs to be handled with a firm hand, especially when she's on her knees for me. Yes, please. That sounds fantastic. So I have that, and then the next book that I have is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is like the first book. It's a vampire fantasy romance. So, for humans and vampires, the rules of survival are the same. Never trust, never yield, and always, always guard your heart. The adopted human daughter of the night-born vampire king, Aurora, carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kijari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. I've heard that it's very similar to like the Hunger Games, this like tournament that she's in. But winning won't be easy amongst the most vicious warriors from all 3 vampire houses. To survive, Aurora is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain is dangerous. He's a ruthless vampire, an efficient killer, an enemy to her father's crown, and her greatest competition. Yet what terrifies Aurora the most of all is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him. But there's no room for compassion in the Kijari. War for the House of Night brews, shattering everything that Aurora thought she knew about her home, and Rain may understand more than anyone. But their blossoming attraction could be her downfall, in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. Yes. I do kind of want to wait to read that one because it is, like the second book doesn't come out till March. So it is one that I do want to read, but I want to wait a little bit to read it. Then I have A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. When Ren Boma is a model student, kind, clever, and beautiful. She is loved by everyone at Lancaster Prep, everyone but brooding campus bad boy Crew Lancaster. Son of the family who own the school, Crew's life seems easy, but with an overbearing father and high expectations, it's anything but, which is why he has no time for people like Ren. But when their lives unexpectedly collide, Ren discovers there's more to life than good grades, and Crew finally understands what it's like to care about someone other than himself. Should they become the school's most unlikely couple? I can speak. I promise. That sounds fun and just very, like, easy. Sometimes I just want, like, a book that's not going to be, like, a ton of, like, brain power and, like, take up a lot. Why is this not working? Next, I have Next of Kin by Hannah Bonam-Young. This is something that Caitlin from the Librarian has talked about. I've read Hannah Bonam-Young's Christmas novella, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to read one of her full-length novels. When people-pleasing Chloe learns that her birth mother has unexpectedly had another baby, she doesn't hesitate to become a next of kin guardian. But when she fails to pass Child Protective Services financial evaluation, she is faced with a choice. See her baby sister faced in foster care or participate in CPS's new initiative, Team Up. Enter Warren, a surly mechanic's apprentice attempting to get custody of his deaf 15-year-old brother after failing CPS's housing evaluation. When the two strangers immediately clash, but agree to live together until Warren can find housing elsewhere and Chloe can further grow her freelance career. As their lives intertwine, Chloe and Warren both realize that they're far more similar than they could have imagined. What started as force begins to feel natural, and far less lonely. Chemistry soon intensifies beyond what either of them can stand, and they must decide if what burns between them is worth risking their arrangement. So that sounds phenomenal. I'm really excited to get to it. Then the next book that I have is Morally Corrupt by Veronica Lancet, on sprints for the KU Readathon. Someone was talking about this and it just sounds phenomenal. She's an assassin, he's a policeman, and her husband. Like, I love a badass heroine. So, yes. Bianca Ashby, a certified sociopath with an obsession for her husband, tries to juggle 2 lives. The demure NYPD chief commissioner's wife and the perfect Bratva assassin, all the while keeping her husband safe and blissfully unaware. But when high-level corruption and a personal vendetta raises the stakes, no one is who they say they are, least of all Bianca's perfectly dull husband, Theo. From glitzy New York ballrooms and charity events to underground sex rings, drugs, and illegal fights, the best pretender wins it all. Yes. There's a new show coming out that sounds kind of like this, where he's like a thief and she's like an agent. It just, yeah. Sounds wonderful. And then there's Get Thee Off My Lawn, a Regency rom-com with a swan problem. This is a historical novella that Christy from Christy Reads a lot, read and talked about during the KU Readathon and really enjoyed. April Nightingale wants the best for her swans, Gerald and Daphne, which is why she won't rest until they mate for life. It would have happened by now if not for Gerald's absurd penchant for the neighbor's pond. But when April trespasses on the daring lawns to reclaim her fowl, a fouler surprise awaits, as does a tall, handsome neighbor who can't hold back his laughter at her folly. Leopold Daring was not expecting this today. A swan thief in his pond. Trespassers are not much tolerated, but this one story is too amusing not to hear, and her gap-toothed mischievous grin too enticing. But being her rescuer for a day was never going to be enough, and her swan, Gerald was it, might be the very thing to learn her back. Gerald the swan does as he pleases, and paddling on the daring pond pleases him very much. Unfortunately for him, the twits who own his pond are incapable of declaring their affection via any means but swan theft, and are in need of a graceful pawn. So, yeah, this just sounds fun. And it's a quick novella, so... And sometimes, I need, sometimes I feel like a historical novella is great when I'm, not in the mood for historicals, but because it gets me back into the mood for historicals. Then I have An Optimist's Guide to Heartbreak by Jennifer Hartmann. This is, the first in her new duet. There once was a girl with fireflies in her eyes and music in her soul. Remember her. She's important. The reason I panic bought the little brick house on Maple Street, the one I've lived next door to for 8 magical years. Now I'm back digging up the floorboards and lost journals. I can't stop thinking about the 2 people who grew up here. You see, that girl was my best friend, and this house was once hers. She also had a big brother who was my everything, before circumstance turned us into nothing more than memories. That's why I applied for this job at his auto shop, unprepared to discover that my new boss, Cal Bishop, is now gruff, built, and covered in tattoos. I'm the sun to his overcast sky, the smile to his surly solitude, a reminder of everything he longs to forget. But my heart has a secret, and we're running out of time to fix our torn pages. Maybe the same girl who used to be the glue still holds the key to putting our pieces back together. See, I told you she was important. That just sounds wonderful, and I really want to read it. Then I have Risky by Aurora Rose Reynolds. This is the second book in her Adventures in Love series. This is on KU. Read and listen, and I enjoyed the first one. It was fun. It was a quick, easy read. I had a good time with it. I think I gave it 4 stars, so I'm might as well read the next one. Everly never expected to move back in with her parents. She definitely didn't expect to do so as a single mother, but with the father of her son suddenly out of the picture, she's had to make some adjustments to her plans. Now Everly has one priority: to make a life for herself and her boy, and Blake, her sometimes infuriating but admittedly handsome employer at Live Life Adventures, doesn't factor into her future as anything more than her boss. But it seems the guy who's worried about a friendly grizzly bear, who's about as friendly as a grizzly bear, has a soft spot for her and her son. And the more time she spends with him, the more difficult it is to remember why giving in to their chemistry between them is bad. Now, with their future on the line, they have to decide if love is a risk worth taking. So, yeah, sounds great. Then the last one that I have that is new is Lotus, also by Jennifer Hartmann. This one is supposed to be taken off kind of soon, so off of KU, so that's why I downloaded it, because I do really want to read it. You learn about this character in Still Beating. So, to the rest of the world, he was the little boy who went missing on the 4th of July. To me, he was everything. My heart has been the same since he disappeared, but I've learned to build my life around that missing piece. 22 years later, the last thing I expect is for the missing piece to come back. His name is Oliver Lynch, and this is his story. This is our story. So yeah, it just sounds fantastic, and so I'm really excited to get to it. But yeah, those are the 20 books that I currently have checked out on KU. Obviously, 7 of them are previously checked out, and so there's quite a few new ones that I'm really excited to get to. And yeah, we're going to see. I'm going to try not to download anything new unless it is for a readathon or something until I have read through everything on there. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that is all I have for now. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a phone emoji because, they don't have a Kindle emoji. But you can read the Kindle on your phone. So leave me a Kindle emoji, or leave me a phone emoji, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. It really helps me out, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye. Actually, let's try. If you made it